is yours, the world is mine. I'm just trying to get mine, a piece of the pie.
This is me. I know I'm out of dealing in the streets. I can't see. Living at home, they stand tall and look at me. Can't change that man, cause that's the way it gotta be. Baby, I'm in the streets, baby, cause this is me. I know I'm out of dealing in the streets. I can't see. Living at home, they stand tall and look at me. Can't change that man, cause that's the way it gotta be. Baby, I'm in the streets, baby, cause this is me.
This me every day, all day, thug. On the corner, pinning, corner, getting paid.
Carrie Gerald, welcome to With One Black Voice. I got a good friend of mine on here, a gentleman by the name of Harvey Williams. Everybody give it up for Mr. Harvey Williams. What's up, Harvey?
What's up, man?
Hey, man, it's all
Well,
good.
hey, long time no see, man.
Yeah, oh, yeah, it's been a minute. Because, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. I left Houston. I'm back in Phoenix, and Harvey's back in H-Town. What's going on, man?
Just chilling, man. Just chilling, trying to get my life back on track, man. You know how it is, bro. Everybody be going through something, and we just trying to get back on our feet, get back on board, bro. But you know how it is, everybody's still trying to grind and everybody, trying to get that struggle off their back, man. So that's basically what we're doing. But it's all good.
Yeah, when you say everybody, man, it's like the whole world. From Russia to COVID, it's all kind of crazy shit going on in this motherfucker, man. It's like,
man, the world is going into a handbag, man.
Hey, but you know what, man? Hey, I gotta say this. How long have we, brothers been knowing each other? What, our kids? What was Tyson born? My kid born?
Man, bro, no, man. We met before Tyson was even born, and Tyson was born in 1998, so that make him 24 years old. So, bro, we've been friends for a long time, man.
It's been 20, it's been over 20 years, man. It's funny. Brothers got a whole lot of stories we could tell too. But I did a little research. I gotta admit this. I said, I'm gonna look up your bio.
Okay.
I have known you 20-some years. I have never known that your middle name is Levance. Am I saying that
right? Yeah, my daddy wanted me to be a model, man. My people from Louisiana, man.
Okay.
And my grandmother moved from Louisiana to Hempstead, Texas. And I'm the second, and Lil Harvey is the third. So, my dad is Harvey Levance Williams Sr. I'm Harvey Levance Williams Jr. and Levance Williams the third. So it's three.
I never knew that. But yeah, man, that's interesting as hell, man. I thought about I know my brother named his son Junior. And I thought about it, man. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna, name my kid after me. First of all, I'm not crazy about Carrie. That's first. I'm like, I ain't gonna wish that on him.
I think with my dad, I think he wanted a piece of him walking the earth when his ass is no longer around. And I think I went through that same thing, with my first boy, to keep my dad's legacy going on along with myself. And I think, you know how black people are, bro. So, it's just a little thing that, everybody got their own little, little special thing that they want to do in their family to just, one day, 100 years from now, I still want my name to be remembered here on earth, if that makes sense. No, it sounds like
no. It's funny you say that, man, because to me, I'm more spiritual than religious.
Right.
Right. I'm thinking about when people talk about, everlasting life and everything, man. To me, that's what having a kid is, man. It's like, the blood from our ancestors 100, 200 years ago is still in there. You know what I'm saying? Even though
you're absolutely right, man.
We don't know who they are. I don't know. I did reach out to my mother's, some of my mother's relatives, because my mother had like 8 brothers and sisters, man. She's from that generation where they were having plenty of kids from Augusta, GA. And I was talking to some cousins about a year ago when I was back in Houston. And so I called them. I say, man, I'm trying to get as much information as I can because my mom has Alzheimer's, so she doesn't know who we are. And it just so happens all her brothers are passed except for one, and he has Alzheimer's. So,
so it runs in your family there, right?
Yeah, I think so, man. So I reached out to some family members, the cousins, and they turned me on to a relative that I've never met. But he was telling me, man, he was able to go as far back in my mother's side of the family is where he's from. And
Wow.
he said something, man. He got back as far as like the 1800s, where I guess we had a great grandmother who didn't speak, couldn't write, and she signed her name with an X or something. So I was definitely on my mom's
Wow,
side
man.
able to trace it back to slave days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what, PV, and that's when you say slave days, bro, that's not that far back, man. It ain't like it was,
Yeah,
2,000 years ago, man. That's we're
yeah.
talking about 100 years ago, like 130, 120 something years ago. You start talking about slavery and stuff like that, man. So that wasn't that far away, man. So
Yeah.
a lot of things. What I don't understand, I got a lot of friends that don't have kids, don't want to have kids, not even thinking about having kids. And I think, to me, that's tragic, because I always want to, I got, I
That
just
shuts
got
it down.
remarried. Yeah, bro. So I got 9 kids. Not, I got 5, my biological kids, and I just got remarried. So I got another 4. But I think it's cool to see a piece of you, and walking around that has that bloodline. When I look at my kids, I look at my daughters and my sons. I'm like, that's a little bit of me inside them. So that was my whole thing about, when I was growing up, I always wanted to have kids.
Well, and it's so funny. Something else I learned in your bio, your birthday is coming up on the 22nd.
Yeah, next week. Yeah, yeah, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
it's funny. Little Mama's birthday was the 14th.
Wow.
So and I I sent her a picture of me and her, when she was a little kid, little baby, man. And I said, yeah, you definitely got the old man's forehead. You know what I'm saying? Both my kids. They
Well, I
definitely
haven't,
got
I
the
haven't,
old
seen, I
man's
haven't seen
forehead.
my kid in a long time, but she was a beautiful kid, man. I can't imagine what she looks like right now.
Oh, you know
It's
what,
been
man?
it's been years since
She's
I've seen her.
beautiful. She's a beautiful little girl, man. And it's so funny, Harvey, man, because they're grown now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She's on her way to med school, and but I look at those pictures when she's a baby, man, and that's what I see. You know what I'm saying? It's like I
Yeah.
see I
You
see
see
my
yourself.
kids
Yeah.
little. Yeah, and I
Yes.
I look at them and I definitely see, my kids definitely got the Williams look, So, Diane
Me and you
called me.
got. It's funny that you say that, because your last name is Williams. My last name is Williams. And when you say you got
Yeah.
that Williams look, bro, I know exactly what you're saying, because we ain't up but ass and lips and legs and
Your ass, your
yeah,
neck,
ass
going
on
through that neck
yeah.
and then
And
because
everybody in my
I know
family is built like
Tyson.
that, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tyson. Harvey Jr. I don't know if he got that, but Tyson definitely got that neck of yours, man.
Yeah, no, Tyson got a long neck. Lil Harvey got a long neck. My
Oh, do we?
yeah, my daughter Amber has my long neck. Brittany has a long neck. So yeah, my kids definitely got that from me, man. Them long necks and them big old asses and legs and stuff. So that runs in my family, bro. So you can always tell a Williams when you see a family member, be like, oh, that's a Williams. It's funny. That's why I was saying that's funny that you say that, bro.
But that's like, well, wait a minute. That's like your old man. He doesn't have that neck, do he?
Yeah, my old man, but my old man is an old dude now. When he was, back in his 30s, man, my dad was like 6'8", so he was
Yeah, he
6'8",
taller
but
than
yeah,
you.
he had
Yeah, he's
yeah,
way taller than you.
yeah. I think the reason why I'm not my dad's height is because I prayed to God that I did not want to be that tall, because my dad always used to tell me, well, if you're a certain height, if you might be too tall to be a running back. So I used to pray to God, don't let me be no taller than 6'2" or 6'3". So yeah, man. So yeah, I got my brother Mark. I think you bet my brother Mark. Mark is like 6'8", 6'9".
That's the older one, right?
No, he's like a couple years younger than me. He 330,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
345.
yeah. I mean, I met him, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Is he, is he from another? Does he have another mother or father or something, or is it the
No, we
same
got the
parent?
same mother father. Nope.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and Daryl, you met Daryl, and you met my
Oh man,
sister
Daryl was
Sandy and
always
Angela.
around, but yeah, you did have
Yeah.
another brother that came, but I didn't see him that much.
Which
I
one,
never,
Mark?
Yeah, the other brother,
Yeah, yeah.
Daryl,
It
yeah,
was
Daryl
it's
was
like
always around.
yeah, it's like 3 of them you haven't met. So yeah, I come from a big family also. It's 9 of us. So
Oh, I did not know that. I mean, I met your
yeah,
sisters.
yeah, it's 9
You
of
got
us, man.
see. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what your parents are from where again? Where's your dad from?
No, we from here, but my grandmother, they from from Louisiana. They moved from Louisiana here. My dad's mother. So we got
Okay,
the
yeah, because
got that little.
no, I was saying that because that's like my mother's from Augusta, the real South. You know what I'm saying? Where
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
they were having 8 kids, 8, 9 kids back in the
Well,
day,
shit,
man.
when your ass poor and broke, you ain't what you gonna do? All you gonna do is smash. Think about that, bro. Back in
Yeah,
them 40s and them 30s and them 50s,
yeah.
people ain't had nothing else to do. But you ain't got no money, so you in the house, you ain't gonna do nothing but have a bunch of kids, man. So
I didn't think about that. Happiness is in between
yeah,
some pies or something. It's
exactly,
like, yeah.
bro. Yeah,
Damn, I didn't even
shit.
think about that shit. That's some wild shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
because
true.
yeah, but I think about that, man. I'm saying, man, I was good with one, but
Yeah,
2 is good, but I'm thinking, man, there's 8 kids. Come on, man.
yeah. You better have some money to take care of that many kids, man. But it's all
Yeah,
good.
what
I always wanted to have a big family, and I come from a big family. And the cool thing about that, bro, if you're not fighting with your brothers and sisters, when if everything is good, it's cool to have them family reunions and see your sisters and your brothers and your nieces and nephews. And I thought that was cool as a kid because my mother and my father, they come from big families. So when we would have that family reunion, in July and August back in the day, man, you play running around with your family, with your cousins
how
and
close are you
having a
with your
party. They
cousins?
don't do that no more, man. Huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how close are you with your cousins and stuff like that? Are
Man,
y'all
I was
close?
really, really close as kids and young adults, but you know how niggas get, man. Everybody start hating and everybody doing their own thing and jealousy and ain't nobody got no money. You got money and it causes a rift along with.
Well, I ain't had the money problems, but yeah, my cousins and stuff like that. I kind of know who they are, but we don't necessarily always. But we're in different places. They're in Georgia. They're in Chicago. I think there's some in Detroit that I
Yeah,
never really met. And and it's sad to say, man, Harvey, I met most of those people, man. At a funeral or something. You know what I'm saying? When
yeah,
a family member passes or something, everybody comes from everywhere, and
yeah,
you see
yeah.
people like, I didn't even know this dude, man. And,
Well, that's the only thing that now that is funny that you say that. Like now, when I see my family members now, it's only at funerals. It ain't like like when when we were younger and we'd hanging out and going out together and having get-togethers and my family don't do that anymore, man. That was that was years ago that they used to do that. Now people getting older, people dying. Now when
yeah.
my family gets together, it's only doing funerals, and then after the funerals, then you don't see nobody until the next funeral. And that's
Yeah,
sad, bro. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying,
yeah,
man. I got
family.
this thing, man. I'm trying to stay away from funerals, man. My thing is they're so depressing to me, and my thing is, man, I'm gonna say this on the podcast. It's like, listen, I love my family. I have no reason not to love. I ain't talking about my kids. I'm talking about brothers and cousins. I got love for all of them, man. But I'm not that close with them, man. And my thing is, if Harvey, if I died tomorrow, man. Brothers ain't gotta, you ain't gotta fly to come, be here. Just, pour a drink or something and, have a laugh and talk some shit. That's kind
But
of
nigga,
brother.
I'm gonna be on my way anyway, bro. So I wanna see what you look like when you get embalmed anyways. I can talk about your ass.
Because
You
motherfuckers do
ain't.
be looking weird. That's what I'm saying.
I know what you look like when you was alive. I want to talk about your ass when you die. Like, man, that nigga look bloated. The nigga makeup was all messed up. You know how we do, bro.
Man, hey, man, I'll never forget, man, my dad was there at his funeral, man. I reached in and touched his arm, man. Just the way it
Wow.
felt. I'll never forget that. Like, wow, man. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. That
and then, his
and
wig didn't look right, all the way right. I'm like, they look like they ain't comb his hair right. I'm like, yeah,
ain't
man.
that crazy, man?
Yeah, yeah, man.
That's
But
deep.
but my old man told me, man, the last time I seen him, I came through. I'm trying to think. I was in Houston, but I came through. He was at the hospital. It
How
was
long
like I
ago,
say,
P?
man, Harvey, I think my dad been dead about 10, 12 years maybe.
Wow, man.
But I went, I remember going to the hospital and my old man, was in his like 74, looked good. My old man, could have looked like he was like in his 50s or something, man. And
Mm.
I say, cool as hell. I say, what's up, Pops? He said, hey, what's up, Freddie boy? People close to me know me, they call me Freddie boy. I'm like, yeah. So I say, hey, what's up, Pops? It was like 8 o'clock at 7, 8 o'clock at night. He said, Freddie boy, what you doing here? I said, hey, I'm on my way back. I wanted to stop through. And there wasn't no fucking nurse there, Harvey. There wasn't, so I just walked in. He said,
Wow, bro.
visiting hours. So I was like, well, nobody told me I couldn't come in. But we talked for about 20 minutes, man, and it's so funny, Harvey, man. And I told him, I said, yeah, Pops, something I've always wanted to do, why, you and Mom are alive is kind of dig deep into the DNA and try to figure out, go back as far. He said, you know what, man, that'd be a good idea, right? And so we talked about that. He said, yeah, man, that's a good idea, because I don't know anything about, I knew my father's mother, but I never knew his father. I can remember. But, he never talked about his father either. So, my thing is, he said, yeah, Freddie, but that'd be a good idea, man. And it's so funny because that would be the last time I would, see him alive, man.
Also, y'all never got a chance to have that talk, man.
Nah, not going forward with that. Because he was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Because, my old man know things that, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, about his father and, like about his father. And it's so funny. When we found out my mom had Alzheimer's, she went to visit people, my brother in Oklahoma. She wasn't coming back home, right? So she had a trunk with all, just family stuff in there. And I remember digging in there and I saw my dad's birth certificate. And it said something about his father, the mother and the father, but that I told my sister, because I sent all that shit to her. I said, yeah, it had Pop's father's information in there. Because again, even after the fact, I wanted to kind of dig into that, man. But all I'm saying, man, why your family.
Let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this, not to cut you off. I mean, what are you looking for? Like,
just to learn, just kind of know more about, your history. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it, Harvey, man. It's like, you're married to a Hispanic woman now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do her kids speak Spanish?
Yes, they do.
And so I'm saying, why is it that black people, that descendants of slaves, we don't know our language, man? It's like, they did everything they could to strip us of not just our dignity, but our history, man.
Yeah, bro. I mean, yeah. If you really think about it, when they brought us over here on those slave ships and stuff, man, they erased all of that, man. So,
yeah.
If you go back to Africa right now, or the different situations I've been around African people, man, we always get into it because they don't accept us. They don't think we're black because we're considered Americanized now. So every bro. Every African guy I've ever been around, bro, for a long period of time, we always end up getting into it because they don't accept us.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know exactly that feeling you're talking about. But you think that's why? You know what I always thought. My opinion. What I always thought when I run across these brothers, I met a lot of these cats, man. They'll be professors, and even when we own the business, they be professor this and all this. You know what? The vibe I get from Africans, man. They look at American brothers and they think we don't get it. You get to live in America. You get to live in the greatest country in the world with all the opportunity. And we, in their vision, they think that we're too caught up in race, and what's happening against us. And I'm saying, yeah, because you motherfuckers can come here and enjoy the fruits of America because you're coming from a shit place, right?
Exactly,
bro. You give a starving man a cracker, it tastes like a steak.
Exactly.
So they look at it different. But we live here and we've been dealing with this every day for all eternity. That's all we know.
Bro, let me tell you this, man. I've gotten into the arguments about this same thing what you're talking about. And my whole thing, my comeback when I have these discussions with African people, bro, is motherfucker, we didn't ask to come here. We were brought here, bro. And if you go back and you go and look at the history, man, the reason why we were over here, because in Africa, the stronger tribes would go and conquer the weaker tribes, and they would sell the weaker tribes to the white people on them slave ships, and they would ship our black asses over here. Did you know that?
Not only did I not know that, I don't want to listen to that.
And that is the God honest truth, bro. We didn't ask to come here, we were brought here.
You know why I don't want to, why I said that? Because, not that, if it's true, that's that, it makes sense. But you know why I don't want to believe that? Because
why is that?
My whole theory is, man, when I, and I know this is going to sound bad, but I don't mean it to be bad. I look at everything from the prism of a man, right? Go back in history of man, from gladiators to, see, men have always been gladiators, man. And my thing is we measure everything male, it's a male thing. So that's why when I look at, hell, you were a fucking first round draft pick. I watched a little bit of film of you and some dude named Mitchell or something, the running backs or something, running the ball or something. And I'm saying, you know why brothers can run fast, jump higher, and do all these things? Because again, it's gonna sound bad because I think we're superior, man. I think there's something to that king and queen, that king and queen stuff.
It is.
Yeah, so you say the weaker tribes, maybe not. I'm saying no, maybe they took the strongest motherfuckers from Africa and shipped our ass over because they can get more money.
No, that didn't happen till they got over here. Then you take
you take the warriors, man. Kings.
Yeah, bro. So you look at these slave masters, bro. They would go get the biggest, baddest, finest, black woman. Then he would go and get his big black buck, and then he would and breed them two, and then they're gonna have a son that's gonna be 6'5", 6'8", 300. That didn't start happening till they got over here. They was breeding us like cattle, like you do dogs. That's exactly what happened. They didn't do that over there in Africa. They did that over here when them slave ships landed over here. Yeah, that's what happened.
I was watching. It's funny. I was watching something on TV today. It had it's not the NBA, but it's basketball in Africa. It had it was Cape Town and some other brothers, and I saw one or two brothers looking like they got a little game. I'm like, okay, it's just a matter of time, man, before.
You talking about the European white boy?
Yeah, well, no, I'm talking about it was Cape Town, South Africa. It was some African. It was some African league, and it's not NBA, but it's basketball over in Africa. I caught a couple of minutes of it. It was kind of nice, man. Brother,
you remember the old sports commentator Jimmy the Greek?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason why he got fired. Yeah, that's the reason why he got fired from CBS. He was actually telling the truth. He's, the reason why, black men run fast and jump high is because of genetics. And back in the slavery days, they would go and breed the best black woman and the best black man. That's why they cannot run us and out jump us. And his ass, he was telling the truth, but Jimmy the Greek got fired for that. He was.
I remember
Jimmy
that,
the Greek
man,
back in the day. Jimmy the Greek,
Brent Musburger and all them.
Yeah, Brent Musburger and Summerall and all them dudes. What's my other dude name? Musburger. Yeah. That's the reason why Jimmy the Greek got fired, because of that statement.
That's when Phyllis George.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Remember Jane Kennedy and all them? Yeah.
That's
they
going
ran
back to the good old days.
Hey, me and you same age, bro.
Hey, well, actually, I'm a little bit older because I just saw your bio. You're 67, right?
I was born in 67. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I was born in 63, so I'm a little bit old. But same generation,
same era, bro. Yeah, we're in the same.
Hey, but but Harvey, think about this, man. When you said that about the slave stuff, it reminds me of my script, Purple Red. But something I did in that in the opening of Purple Red, man, and I did it purposely, talking about it was a slave scene, right? And it showed Massa coming in with the slave, like a 10, 12-year-old slave girl who's got blood on the front and back of her dress, with the inference being she was being raped by a slave owner, right? Now,
right.
Let's fast forward, and let's talk let's talk like I always think of things like I'm writing a script. So if I'm writing a script and we flipping the script and we showing brothers who are and white people are the slaves, how many cute ass white women is black slave master busting?
all of them.
All of them.
All of them. Exactly. Every last one of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That motherfucker got a potpourri of blondes and brunettes. Like a harem running around that.
Blondes, I like them too. Yeah. Shit, you know how that movie gonna end, bro. Shit,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's gonna be a lot of angry motherfuckers if they watch that shit. If I wrote it, they'd be like, "This motherfucker." Funny.
That's funny that you put it that way, bro. But yeah, you're absolutely right. If you flip the script like you just said, what my thing is in UPV, what would be different?
It'd be a whole bunch of mulatto motherfuckers running that peel and dunking that ball. First of all, brothers done hit them all.
Shit, all the time. They talking about how bad. They talking about the white man was going into them slave houses late at night, or he bring the shit. Guess what? We be doing the same exact thing, bro. Same exact
the
thing.
brother would be beating the woman, man. You know, them motherfuckers gonna do shit. You know, wake me when you're done.
God know what he doing.
Yeah, wake me
God
when
know
you're
exactly
done.
what
Them
he doing,
motherfuckers,
bro.
man. Shit,
But
brother.
yeah.
Yeah, you flip that script, man. That'd be a hell of a movie. A lot of motherfuckers would want to watch that shit because it'd be like, brothers be like,
But let me ask you this: in this day and age, would they be ready for that? I don't think Hollywood would be ready for that.
Oh,
and we're in 2022. You remember the movie Mandingo?
You'd have to make that movie as an independent. Nobody gonna support you on that shit. You better have some money because it's gonna be chaos.